Hey guys, what's up? It's Ricardo, junkguysdfw.net, and I am today in Fort Worth at my studio at YouTube headquarters in San Bernardino, California. Just kidding, guys. I'm here in Fort Worth, Texas, and I'm in my studio. So I wanted to bring up and I didn't bring this up, and I haven't brought it up in any of my videos, but here it is, guys. This is how I made $18,000 in profit, not in sales, in profit in 1 month, okay? Now you're wondering, oh gosh, dude, I've heard it all. Everybody has these videos. Hey, I sold 20,000, but they never really talk about profit, how much they had, or they don't have proof of the profit, which I always do. So one of the things I wanted to do was I had talked to my wife. I told my wife that in November of 2021, we're not going to go out. We'll stay in, we'll eat in, and I'm not going to spend a lot of money, so let's not buy anything. Let's just keep our bills, okay? And she was like, that's fine. What's your idea? And I said, well, one of my ideas was I wanted to save as much as I could in 1 month. And my idea was this: make $20,000 profit in 1 month. That was the whole idea, just to hit $20,000, but I missed it. I did not make it, okay? So here's what happened. I wanted proof. How could I get proof? Well, easy. I had proof with receipts. So every day I would come home. If I made $300, I tried to save $300, okay? If I made $1,000, I was saving $1,000. So that's how tight I was. I was trying to save every single dollar that I made that month. I was writing it down in the receipts. Then those receipts were getting transferred over to this book. But we'll get over to that book also, okay? Because see, I was not handling this. My wife was. So I would give her the money. Then she would give me a receipt. And I want to show you that. We did it 3 ways. How to hold the money was one way. That was my wife. She was putting it all in one account. Where's the proof? How can I prove to my viewers that I was actually made $18,000 in 1 month? Well, I'll show you guys, because those receipts came out to be these receipts, all these receipts, okay? We actually used up 1 full book in 1 month. Oh, shit, okay? Every one of these are actually, oh man, I'm dropping them all, are written receipts, okay? And they're all right there, guys. And I'm going to show you, I'm just going to show you one right here. Here's one that says $300 from a PayPal commission right there. Look at that. $300 right there. And there is plenty of these. Look at these. Oh my God, they're falling all over the place. So that was one way we documented how I made this money. I would come home, give my wife $500, $1,000, and she would give me a receipt, and here they all are. But that wasn't it. Because see, that's one way to keep the profit, okay? Now, there they all are. I want to be sure that y'all see this, okay? They're all right here. We wasted 1 whole book, and God, I dropped so many of these things right here under the table. And let me get them. All right, here we go. So there's a lot of them. Anyway, that was the first way we documented. But then I told her, you know what? We got to have some proof of that. Every time she gave me one of these, she wrote it down in a book. Now, we were only writing down what we sold. And my expenses were something totally different. So if I made $1,000, but I spent $200, I'd only bring her home $800. She would write me a receipt. Boom. This receipt would go into a ledger, which is right here, guys. So this is the ledger right here. Now I'm going to cover one part of the ledger because I used a lot of key codes in this thing. You know what? I can just do this. Okay, right here, this is the ledger. Okay, those are the numbers right there that I was making on a daily basis, and it just goes up like that. Okay, and I categorize each one of these. Okay, I categorize them in cash, Venmo, PayPal, cash, Venmo, PayPal, cash, Venmo. So every which way that I got paid that money, I wrote it down. Also, I wrote it down on the receipts. For instance, this was a Venmo commission. See, it says Venmo right there. Venmo commission right there. And I called them commissions, but really it was profit, okay? Now, I just did that for my own reasons, okay? So every one of these categories, and you could tell in this book right here that every one of these is written down depending on how it was served to me. So just to show you that too. See, cash, Venmo, PayPal, there they all are. So they were all categorized. Now it goes into 2 pages. This one actually goes in 2 pages. And every one of them was marked by day to 12/12, 12/20, 20. Okay, so it just goes all the way down the list on how I gave her the money. Now, that is twice. That is 2 ways that I had proof of how much I made the money. But the third way, every day I was calling ER Junk up in North Carolina, and I was talking to Mike Feeney. He actually runs the Junk Removal Discussion Group Facebook page. And I was telling him of the money I was doing. I said, hey, I made this much that day. I made this much this day. And he had a tally in his head, but he actually physically started writing it down. And those numbers would come back to me, and I would add them up. So I wanted to, and I had told him I was doing this. He said, dude, it's impossible. I said, I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to show you how I did it. I'm going to tell you how I did it. And this is the way I did it, okay? So one of the first things I did was wanted to keep my expenses down, okay? That whole month I sold, I think it was like $23,800, something like that. And I had some money missing somewhere. There was a difference of about $600, maybe expenses I didn't write down or just stuff I spent on the side. I have no idea how it happened, but there was a balance of $600 that was missing during the whole thing. So out of the $23,800 that I sold, 80% of that was profit. And that's why I came out with about $18,000 and some change, but for the sake of the video, it was $18,000. I did miss my mark of $20,000 that month, and I was really disappointed. I'm going to tell you why, okay? 5 things I did to make the $18,000, okay? The first thing is I worked every day. I was working 7 days a week, and I had told my wife I'm not going to call, I'm not going to delay a job. I'm going to go and do it. If the phone rings and it's $45, I'm going to drive it all the way across town, because that was my thing, not to miss the opportunity of making this money. If it was $10, I went and got it. So that was one of the things that I talked to myself about. I'm going to say, Ricardo, it doesn't matter. If you're just doing it for 25 days, 30 days, or whatever, how many days, November, it didn't matter to me. I just wanted to work every single day. So if calls came out on Sunday, I would actually leave my flag football game after the game and go do a job for $200 or $125. But I wanted every single day to make money. I worked 7 days a week if necessary. Now, I will tell you there were some weeks that I did not work 7 days. I only worked 6 days. Okay. Now, how do I average that? It's about, I think, making 20, I want to get my calendar, I think it's about $700 a day to make that much money, $23,000. Is that right? I'm not really sure about that. 30 times 7, 21,000, something. It's about $800 a day. All right, guys. So anyway, we're not going to get into that. That's just logistical problems, okay? The number 2 thing that I did to get and make the $18,000 profit is I started posting, and I wrote this stuff down. I posted on Craigslist. This is my idea. This is my idea book. When I wanted to make that money, I wrote ideas that I could do to make that money and what I had to do. So I had an idea, right? And it was to make $20,000 profit, but how could I do it? So I wrote down these 5 ideas, and I said to myself, I'm going to stick to this, because usually I just lean away from it and I don't pay attention to it. But I wanted to stick to this and go, I can look back at this in 30 days and go, man, I made it. Why? Because I did this. And I wrote all this stuff down. And I even put down there, hey, how much I wanted to make. And I put $20,000 your goal, blah, blah, blah. You know, something stupid. And I did this in November of 2021, okay? Number 2, I posted on Craigslist for the first time in a long time. And I was posting, dude, I was just throwing stuff out there. I didn't care. I made ads and everything. Before I started that, you know, the month before October, I started concentrating. I said, man, I got to do it this way, and I'm going to do it this way, and I got to make new ads. So I started making ads for hot tubs. I started making ads for anything you think of. I made ads, washer and dryers, refrigerator, blah, 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 blah. And I started posting on Craigslist 7 days a week. I was posting like 6 times a day. I was spending like $30 a day, but it didn't matter. Okay, and I was getting jobs from them. But I started posting on OfferUp. I started putting on 5 miles. I even started putting on Facebook Marketplace and started flagging me. So I started disguising it and I got away with it. I got a lot of, believe it or not, I got a lot, as much as business I got from Craigslist, I got it from Facebook Marketplace. It was really weird. And one thing I started doing is posting more videos on YouTube that month. I figured, heck, I'm going to just throw videos out there, you know, and I started, if I did a hot tub, I just threw a hot tub video out there. And if you notice in November, I did a lot of head cam videos because those videos are the fastest videos I could do. I just put my head cam and go do the video and post it, and that's it. So I was doing a lot of head cam videos in November. A lot of people didn't notice that and didn't say anything to me about it. But that was my idea, okay? Work 7 days and post everywhere. That was my idea because I had to hit that goal of making $20,000 in profit. Number 3, what did I do? Well, I I was overflowed with jobs. At some point, I would have 12 jobs or 13 jobs or 15 jobs. I subcontract those jobs. But I told the person, whoever was going to do the job, that you had to pay me a fee for each job. So I started charging 10% per fee per job, and sometimes I even sold the jobs at a higher price, okay? I remember one job I ended up getting $5,000 for, and that was the job. It was a hoarder house. It was not a hoarder house, but it was a big job. It was $5,000, okay? I hired 2 companies to go out there, and I paid each of the companies $1,500. I paid one company $1,500 and the other company $1,500 to finish this house for me, and I pocketed $2,000. That $2,000 was pure profit. Now, that's how I was subcontracting those big jobs. And I think in November I had only 2 big jobs that were over like $2,000. Now, I will tell you the small jobs like, let's just say they went and did $150 with the trampoline. They were paying me $15. So I was making money on that side. Before I wasn't making any money. I was just giving away jobs to get rid of them. You know what I mean? To hey, I'm going to send someone out there. This is Junk Guys. We're reliable, dependable, and we're efficient. We're going to send someone out there. I was doing that before, but not making any money. So this time I decided in November, if I've got to reach my goal of $20,000, I got to sell everything. I got to sell even my jobs. So I was selling them for 10%, sometimes 20%. It just depends. If it was $400 jobs, I was telling the guy, hey, just give me $40. See what I mean? So I was working them in like that. Okay, so anyway, I subcontract. Number 3, I subcontract a lot of jobs, okay? Number 4. Number 4 was a big one for me because I did make good money off number 4, and it did help me out a lot. And I'll tell you that number in just a few minutes, okay, guys? I hired my sister, okay? She had left she had a relationship in Mexico that ended, and she came back to the United States, and she was looking for a job. And I said, Maribel, I have a proposition for you. My sister, and you've seen her in some of the videos. I said, Maribel, I want to open a full-blown store this next couple of days, okay? I think it was in like October I hired her because it was Halloween time, and then I made that big money in Halloween. That was awesome. Oh my God, that was awesome. And then I said, in November, I have an idea. I want to make $20,000 profit, but I need you to sell for me everything, and I will half anything you make. If you make $100, I take 50, you take 50. You make $1,000, you take 5, and I take 5. So I have everything with her, and I would supply her with all the goods. I would supply her with all the merchandise. I would supply her with all the junk, all the things that she could sell. We would go half, and she said, "Let's do it." So not only was she making money working with me, but she was selling stuff on the side. Okay, so honestly, that month, if I remember, November was so busy for us reselling things. Well, reselling everything. That month, she just did not work with me. I was subcontracting a lot of jobs, okay, that I was selling, don't forget. Now, in the retail side, you're not going to believe this. I averaged close to $400 to $700 a week doing that. I was like, holy cow, I can't believe I'm selling that much stuff, you know? I mean, I think one week I made like $1,000 and then another week like $300. But anyway, it all tallied up close to $4,200 for that whole month of November. And that's just retailing stuff. Can you believe that? But we did have a big item we sold. We sold these 3 mechanical bikes that we had, and my sister got like top dollar for them. It was ridiculous. I was like, you sold that crap for that much? I couldn't believe it myself. Trust me, I couldn't believe it myself. Anyway, $4,200 was made doing reselling things, okay? Number 5, recycled. In the month of November, I decided to tell Tony. I worked out a deal with Tony. He's the owner of TNT Junk Removal, Anthony Jones. And if you look him up at tntjunkremoval.com. Anyway, I talked to him and I said, Tony, if I'm going to do a lot more business, I'm going to need someone to recycle this. Do you want to have any money that we do in recycling? He agreed with me. He said, yeah, I'll do it. And that's what we did. So I would bring in 20, 30 fridges a week, and he would go at the end of the week, take them all, and go recycle at least twice. I was making easily, additionally, every week, at least $300 to $400 profit. All profit, okay? Because he was taking the other half. So every truckload he was taking was averaging about $300. Sometimes they average $250. It just depends how much stuff he put in it. But that right there was a little extra money. I didn't really add that up, but I would assume close to a month, it was close to $1,000 in just recycling. I don't think I reached that high. Maybe it was between $800 to $1,000, because I honestly did not write receipts in that. I was just bringing that money home because I said, that doesn't count for this. That's totally something else. My sales that I did with my sister were not written down also, but all the money I brought in was equaled out to what's on this paper right here. So, I mean, what's on the ledger right here. So all that money that I brought in, I use that as junk removal money. Do you understand what I mean? So let's say I made $500 in junk removal. My sister gave me $150 and Tony gave me $100. I really made $750. You see what I mean? So that's how I was doing it. It all got mixed up. Now, I don't know the exact figure that Tony was giving me recycling, but it wasn't a big figure that way. I didn't mix it up. But I do know that my sister gave me $4,200 in only reselling items and junk that we brought in, guys. I made $18,000. Total, I made a little over $18,400 profit for the month of November 2021, and I have proof of that, guys. How do I have proof? I wrote it down. I have a ledger on it. Not only that, every day I was calling ER Junk and telling him how much I made, and he wrote it down. And he knows how much I made that month. You know, at the end of the month, I remember calling him. I said, dude, that's it. I can't make anymore. He goes, you missed it. And I said, yeah. He goes, you've been adding it every day. And I said, and I haven't been adding it. He said, well, I have. You're around $18,000 is what he told me. He said, I assume it's a little over $18,000. I said, well, I'll try to work the rest of this day and see if I can make it. And I didn't reach that number. I mean, I was off by a little. $1,600 is what I was off to make my mark of $20,000. But I will tell you this, it is possible. Mostly every day that I worked by myself, unless I subcontract jobs or paid someone to help me out, do like a hot tub or something like that. I think in the month of November, I only had one hot tub anyway. It really doesn't matter. It is possible to make that money. It is not that impossible to do it. I will tell you this, at the end of those 30 days or 25 days that I worked, my body was messed up. I was limping really bad. My back was hurting because I was working so hard and I was trying to meet that. And I didn't turn down jobs. So that was one of the things that I regret doing. I put my body through a lot. I remember coming home and really laying down on the bed and going into the bathtub and filling up and getting Epsom salt. I will tell you that I used a lot of Epsom salt during the month of November. I think I went through like 9 bags or 8 bags because I was constantly throwing bags of trash. And then I was playing flag football on the weekends, and you know, it just had a lot of effect on me. But guys, I want to tell you that it is possible to make to $18,000 a month in profit in junk removal, and I'll tell you why. I did it. I have proof. I did it 3 times with my receipts, my ledger, and I told someone else about it. So that's the way I did it, guys. I did that so I can have proof to myself that it was possible doing it. And now, you know, I was telling my wife, hey, I'm going to make a video tonight. What should I do? And she said, why don't you tell them about how you made that $18,000? And I was like, holy cow, why didn't I ever bring that up? That's a great subject. And actually, I only did this video because my wife's idea was to bring up the $18,000 that I make in profit doing junk removal. And that's a lot of money, man. For a lot of people, that's a lot of money, because I know a lot of junk removal companies that don't have $1,500 or $1,000 or $2,000 in the bank. But imagine, we deposited all that money in the bank in the month of November. Okay, guys? So anyway, I'm going to go over the 5 things that I did differently to make that $18,000. First thing is I worked every day. Number 2 was I posted everywhere. Number 3 was I subcontracted my jobs for money. Number 4 was we opened the retail store. That was a big, big deal. And number 5, we recycled. And then when we recycled and recycled again. Anyway, guys, don't forget to subscribe. You'll like my channel. Subscribe over there to the right side. On the left side, check out my other videos. And this is how I made $18,000 profit in 1 month.